howdy neighbors. You might have heard that young Johnny Wyndham broke his leg today, and Agnes Jones housebound over on Maple Street. Well,
Listeners responded to Al Sigl with crutches for folks with disabilities and rides for shut-ins. His radio program really made it happen. He inspired a tradition of community concern and grassroots public service here in Rochester. That's why our center is named to honor Al Sigl. The Al Sigl Center is a community partnership that really works and has since 1962. We have 8 independent human service provider agencies that do a very good job of serving people with disabilities. In 1998, just last year, we served 43,000 people from all across Rochester.
I used to have to carry a bottle of milk, and that's when they were bottles, and sandwiches for the kids who didn't have anything in the lower grades. And so I sort of grew up knowing and being taught and feeling for other people, you know, caring, wanting to help in some way. And so after 10 years at United Cerebral Palsy, I had the opportunity to run for the state assembly. All of these people that I had worked with for 10 years, their families and the kids themselves on the backs of the wheelchairs had, "Please elect Penny Cook."
I was one of her first supporters there. In fact, she's even done a few bills on legislation for us too.
I always want people to know that just because they're in a wheelchair doesn't mean that they're not thinking and curious and interested and interesting.
Don't look at us like we're unable. Look at us like we're able.
And so I spent 12 years in the state assembly. I worked very hard. I do think there were people who just didn't understand, who hadn't worked with the disabled, who hadn't seen their daily needs, who didn't know about a wheelchair that had to go down off of a curb and a ramp for people to go up. Hello. How old is he?
2.
2? Let's shake hands.
I'll tell my mom I tried.
Say hello for me, will you please? It's just great to see you. I still hear all the voices of the little kids who are now 30 years old and 35, who have gone on in some way because of what they have received at the Al Sigl Center to make a better life for themselves.
Al Sigl Center was born of a tremendous community need. At the beginning, that need was for an accessible, affordable, comfortable place where people could come for the services that our agencies provide. And as we've lived together, we've been able to find other ways to become more efficient and more cost-effective and do a better job together.
I have a form of MD, Friedreich's ataxia.
And I have multiple sclerosis.
I have been in a chair since I was around 18 or 19.
I share an awful lot in common with Marianne as far as our illnesses go.
If Mike wasn't working at the Sigl Center, probably I wouldn't have met him. We've been married for 8.5 years now.
Somehow I knew that no matter what happened, we would be together for the rest of our lives.
Disabled people in our community with MS and other disabilities have a tremendous need for housing. And the Al Sigl Center, in partnership with MS Society and the Epilepsy Foundation, came together to take on this important need. And the byproduct is a magnificent apartment building, totally accessible for our brothers and sisters with MS and epilepsy.
Al Sigl built this place for people like us in mind, I think, because it is so easy to get around, and because we share something in common, not just Marianne and I, but most of the people in this building. And you had to see our old apartment to understand just how big a place this really is.
Mike likes to show the roll-in shower we have.
There's rails all the way around, wherever you look.
And now I have room to bake, you know, to make stuff on the counters and whatever.
L. Sigl gave us a home, in a very literal sense of the word. They gave us a home. They're our landlords, they're our partners, they're my best friend, and when I need somebody to lean on, they're there. I may be disabled, but I'm also very able. This place gives me that, you know. I wake up in the morning and I feel proud.
There's no way to overestimate how much energy it takes to create a climate that allows the whole to grow to be greater than the sum of its parts, and yet not have any of those parts diminished or threatened. There's an enormous amount of commitment and persistence in our story, and as I think about it, that may just be the lesson we've learned from the people we serve.
Thanks a bunch. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye.
Bye. Hi, Tiffany.
The doctors weren't able to tell us what would happen, whether Tiffany would live through the pregnancy or whether she would die during the pregnancy, and if she did live, whether or not what her life expectancy would be. And the doctors came in and held Tiffany, and Tiffany fit, you know, in the palm of his hand, and said, you know, you'll be lucky if she lives a year, and if she lives longer than that, you know, she's not going to be able to do, you know, all sorts of other things. You know, breathe on her own was one of them. You know, smile, recognize you, you know, probably won't be able to do. But take her home and, you know, love her like you would any other child.
When we realized what we had, one of the things that the doctors did was make us aware of the need to have a provider of early intervention services. And one of the names that they ticked off was the Sigl Center. And I said they could stop right there.
We were able to go to the Rochester Hearing and Speech Center to have her hearing tested. I was able to hook up with other parents through UCP's parent support group, and Medical Motors transported her from home to the Mary Carriola Children's Center for her day service programs.
Good job. You were up there the whole time. A, B, C, D.
She has gym, she has art class, she's learning how to cook. They do range of motion, they sing songs and read stories and have lunchtime. And you know, one of the first times I visited, it literally brought tears to my eyes because everybody knows Tiffany, and I'm known as Tiffany's mom, and I never expected that that would happen.
This is a daughter I'll never walk down a wedding aisle. This is a daughter who will not walk across a college stage in cap and gown. What's amazing looking back now is looking at the future is more characterized by the things that can happen and the things that will happen.
You know, the fact that she can look at us and recognize us and light up when we walk into the room really, you know, gives you the energy to keep on going, just one more day, one more hour.
Things like what happened to us will continue to happen to families. And when people find themselves in that dark place where we were, they need to know, as we knew, that the L. Sigl agencies are there, and that the name L. Sigl is a beacon that can guide people to a better place than that place was for us.
The Al Sigl Center and its partners have received the nationally recognized Mutual of America Community Partnership Award. It's for all the services the agencies provide to the Rochester area. In addition to a monetary award from Mutual of America's foundation, there's a new video showing the work of this partnership, the Al Sigl agencies and their clients. We leave you with this segment from the video. Thank you, Mutual of America.
I'll never have.
So
sun is shining, the sky is blue today. Everybody's going outside to play. Well, together we'll be better and we'll dance the night away. So get right up and into the beat. Grab a partner, it's the place to meet. You dress it up with a little style. I turn around just to see you smile. Smile at me. Smile at me. When you're smiling at me, you let the whole world see. Smile at me. Smile at me. Smile at me. Come on, sing it now. Smile, 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 smile. Smile at me. Smile, 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 smile. Smile at me. Smile, smile, smile. Hey. Smile at me, smile at me. Yeah. Smile at me. Yeah, come on, show it to me. Smile at me.